Purposes. The purposes of this research were to 1. Investigate, 2. Examine, and 3. Explore. X. The purpose of this study was to examine the impact of school-wide positive behavior interventions and supports on student disciplinary incidents in an urban elementary school. This research aimed to investigate the perceptions of school administrators regarding the effectiveness of teacher evaluation systems in a rural school district. The purpose of this study was to explore the experiences of novice principals in urban schools and identify the challenges they face in their roles. The goal of this research was to evaluate the effectiveness of a leadership development program for assistant principals in a suburban school district. This study aimed to identify the factors that contribute to job satisfaction among school counselors in a large, diverse urban school district. The purpose of this research was to examine the effectiveness of a literacy coaching program in improving reading instruction in elementary schools. Research population and samples. The population was a group of. The samples were. The word population is a collective noun that can take either a singular or plural verb, depending on the intention of the author. Sampling techniques. Probability sampling. Simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, systematic sampling, cluster random sampling, multistage random sampling use. Non-probability sampling. Convenience sampling. Quota sampling. Judgment, or purposive, sampling. Snowball sampling. X. This study employed a random sample of school districts in a large Midwestern state to investigate the factors that contribute to successful school consolidation efforts. A purposive sampling was used to select a group of school leaders who had successfully implemented data-driven decision-making processes, with the goal of identifying the key factors that contribute to effective implementation. A stratified sample of teachers from a large urban school district was used to investigate the impact of a teacher leadership program on teacher retention and student achievement. This study utilized a cluster sample of elementary schools in a large urban district, with the goal of investigating the effectiveness of a new school leadership training program. A random sample of college students enrolled in education programs was recruited for this study, which examined their attitudes and perceptions towards teaching diversity in the classroom. A purposive sample of district-level administrators was selected for this study, which used a survey to investigate the extent to which school district policies and practices support teacher collaboration and professional learning communities. Research instrument. Types of research instruments: questionnaire, interviews, observations, focus group discussion and experiment. X. A 5-point rating scale questionnaire was employed to collect the data. A mixed methods approach was employed to collect data on the perceptions of school principals regarding teacher retention strategies. A survey was conducted to collect data on the level of parental involvement in school decision-making processes. Focus group interviews were utilized to collect data on the experiences of teachers with online professional development programs. Classroom observations were used to assess the effectiveness of a new teacher evaluation system. A survey questionnaire was employed to collect data on the perceptions of school board members regarding school district budget decisions. A document analysis was used to collect data on the policies and procedures related to teacher evaluations in a large suburban school district. Interviews were conducted with school district leaders to collect data on their perceptions of the impact of charter schools on public education. Data analysis. Taken from X. Factory analysis was employed for data analysis. A two-way ANOVA was employed to examine the effects of teacher experience and school context on teacher burnout. A network analysis approach was used to analyze the interview data and identify the key players and relationships involved in school improvement initiatives. A logistic regression analysis was used to examine the predictors of school board member support for school district consolidation. A path analysis approach was used to analyze the longitudinal data and assess the direct and indirect effects of a school leadership coaching program on student achievement. A content analysis of school district policies was used to identify best practices for supporting English language learners in K-12 schools. A confirmatory factor analysis was used to assess the validity and reliability of a new survey instrument measuring school climate and culture. A t-test was conducted to compare the mean scores of two groups of students on a reading comprehension assessment to determine the effectiveness of a new instructional intervention. An F-test was used to compare the variances of two groups of students on a mathematics assessment to determine whether the assessment was equally reliable for both groups. A t-test was used to compare the mean achievement scores of students in a traditional classroom setting versus a flipped classroom setting. An F-test was conducted to determine whether there was a significant difference in the variance of teacher ratings of student behavior across different grade levels. Following a significant ANOVA result, a post hoc Tukey test was conducted to identify which specific groups of students had significantly different mean scores on a science assessment. After conducting a one-way ANOVA, a post hoc Sheff test was used to examine the differences in teacher perceptions of school climate across 3 different schools. Findings. The findings revealed that the results of this study indicate a significant positive correlation between teacher collaboration and student academic achievement, highlighting the importance of collaboration in improving student outcomes. The findings suggest that the implementation of a new curriculum had a significant positive impact on student engagement, which may have implications for future curriculum development efforts. The significant difference in mean scores between the experimental and control groups on a reading assessment suggests that the new instructional intervention had a positive effect on student learning outcomes. The results of the study reveal a significant relationship between school culture and teacher job satisfaction, underscoring the importance of creating a positive school culture for improving teacher retention and performance. The significant relationship between student motivation and academic achievement highlights the importance of fostering intrinsic motivation in students to improve academic outcomes. The significant difference in teacher ratings of student behavior between different grade levels suggests that the developmental stage of the students may play a role in their behavior and classroom management needs. Implications. Optional.